Ethan, we are delighted, honored to have this guest on the show. He's now an author, but of course a Silver Star recipient, the recipient of 6 Bronze Stars with Valor for Actions in Combat, a member of SEAL Team 6 from San Angelo, Texas. Justin K. Sheffield joins the show.
Hey, Justin.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for your service, sir.
I appreciate that.
Can we start there? I always wanted to ask this question, and I've asked it of a few of my combat veteran friends. That's an awkward exchange, I feel like, for veterans in general. I am not a person who thanks people very often or does it I always do it in an awkward way. It's just not my way. I always thank veterans, of course. But you folks, I've noticed from my friends, it's also kind of awkward for you to get the thanks. What is that relationship like with people constantly thanking you? How does that make you feel?
Listen, it's a great thing. It does. Most of us. I'm pretty shy, I think, by nature, believe it or not. But I think that we appreciate the thanks. We appreciate that recognition. But also, all of us are doing this not for that, right? We're not doing it for money or that. We're doing it because we love this country and we love our flag, and so it's a thankless job, but we do get thanked a lot, and it's pretty awesome. It is awkward, but it's okay.
Justin K. Sheffield joining the show. Now you're an author. Now the book is called MOB 6, a SEAL Team 6 operators battles in the fight for good over evil. Talk to us about the general tone of the book. How did you approach this? What stories did you want to tell most?
Thank you. So Mob 6 is a bit of a nickname that those of us my era would refer to the SEAL Team 6 as. And the book covers mostly my time from when I got in the Navy all the way through my time and then through my medical retirement in 2014. And I was in a pretty rough state, like a lot of veterans are, getting out that have spent some serious time overseas and in combat. It covers down on I've done probably a dozen deployments to combat theaters, and I try to cover as much of them as I can, obviously condensing the timeline there. But it's definitely rated R, and it's very violent, but also it's got a message of hope. It's my testimony. I'm a Christian. I definitely give credit where it's due in this book.
Now, you served in combat operations and enemy engagements in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Somalia. Now, I'm not going to ask you a goofy question to tell me which was the worst or the hardest, but how would you compare those different regions of the world in terms of your experience?
That's a great question. I would say, they're so vastly different. We are fighting a very common enemy, which is, Muslim extremism. And the guys in Afghanistan, the guys up in the mountains, you got your hands full pretty quickly. They use the terrain to their advantage. These are the most gnarly mountains I've ever been in, and I used to climb a lot and get into mountaineering. And the Himalayas, as they come down into Afghanistan, it's just gnarly terrain. And the fighters have really used it to their advantage. So the sort of the training and stuff that we would go through to compete with these guys was pretty grueling in itself. I've definitely been much more tired and cold and miserable in actual combat situations than I ever was at BUD/S. So it definitely prepares you to an extent. But the guys down south, they know that we use aircraft, so they would close the distance with us. And these guys know a lot of our tactics because, unfortunately, we've had to bring them with us and bring different Afghan forces with us. So it made things a little bit difficult, but our training is second to none, and we would take it to them wherever they were. In Iraq, it was, for me, I know a lot of people have different stories. We went all over Iraq, and, it was like the guys in Afghanistan were a little bit more, I would say, organized as far as fighters coming out to get in a gunfight. In Iraq, it was, there was some of that, but more, I'd say, technically sound on using explosive devices and just some nasty folks as well with Al Qaeda. There's beheading crews that are going around, and we got to wrap a couple of them up. Pakistan, pretty hardcore fighters, also never thinking that they would ever get touched. So when we get in there, there in the Fata, it'd usually be a surprise to them. But we'd usually stir up a pretty big hornet's nest up there too. And then Somalia, my only engagement in Somalia was the hostage rescue with the extremist groups that are out there. And that was they were way more armed and ready than we gave them credit, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be pretty easy, and they were extremely armed, and they got online and they used micro-terrain. Wow. So it was a bit impressive.
What Justin is referring to, as I'm just reviewing the notes over the book here, is they freed a female American citizen and a Danish citizen that were being held hostage. And I'm just trying to put you and I are 7 months. We were born 7 months apart. I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, and frankly, it's impossible. I can't know the things that you've been through. But just seeing your age here, that's where I keep putting my head at. Can you speak to the brotherhood aspect? I mean, I hear this so often from veterans that they become closer with the folks that they serve with than they do with some of their family members. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So it's from the very first day. Really, you come in the military, that's ingrained. But also, just through going through BUDS, you're in a boat crew, you're in small units, you're always together. And then to the SEAL teams, I mean, you guys are living and breathing together more than you will be with your family. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is because of the training and then the deployment cycles. So you're with these guys, you know them. Everybody knows their ins and outs. Everybody by the end of deployment is usually in their own rooms and sick of each other. But it is a brotherhood. It's a dysfunctional family sometimes, but a family nonetheless. And there's a deep sense of friendship, love for each other that continues on. I mean, I still love these guys, and I have a different kind of respect and love for military folks in general. Just with our foundation and stuff, I get to deal with different units all the time, and it's pretty awesome because it's definitely the camaraderie is still there.
If you just joined us, we're talking to Justin Sheffield, author of the book Mob 6, a SEAL Team 6 Operators Battles in the Fight for Good Over Evil, a member of SEAL Team 6. My question is, and you might have already answered this somewhat, but considering all that you've been through, and I don't take anything away from servicemen who have been in any of the arms of the service, but what you've been through, how do you come back and live your life, try to live your life again after battle after battle, mission after mission?
While I was in it, it was so fast paced when I was at SEAL Team 6. I loved it. And I think the guys that are there, we all feel the same way. We wanted to go back over. Now, the wars and the rules of engagement and everything changed, as leadership changes and so on. So it did get weird there for a while towards the end. But we would come home and get back on training and get ready to go right back over. And it does wear you out, no question. It wore me out, certainly. But, getting it, I think at the end there when I got retired, that was the hardest because you do all this and you think that that's your life. And I figured I'd die over there, honestly. I didn't really have a second plan. I thought I'd be in the Navy forever or I'd die overseas. So it was definitely a struggle, and that's part of what we're doing is to help vets out in that situation that are sort of feeling like they're naked right now.
So you had made that up in your mind that you had decided you're going to die over there. So that eye-opening to hear for folks like us who didn't serve. You had made that decision in your mind, and then to come back here and realize you were going to live. I can't even imagine. Was there, and please don't take this as disrespect. Was there a disappointment on your part?
No, I wouldn't say it like that. I would say that I didn't want to die. None of us want to die. I had accepted it. We had lost lots of our friends. It didn't seem like anything was going to ever end. We, at some point there, we were like, what are we still doing? It felt like we were the only ones that still thought there was a war going on. So I think it was a very strange time for us, just the psychology of why we're there. But, we didn't die. I didn't die. And, when I was getting out, it kind of flip-flopped on me. I was actually looking forward to suicide.
Wow.
And it was a dark time, but obviously I've gotten through that. So that's I cover that extensively in the book and what we're doing now to help others like me, because there's a lot that are going through some stuff like that. So
let me ask you this question, and I feel I need to. How are you doing right now, mentally and physically? Are you okay?
Thank you for that. I feel like I'm as good as I can be right now.
Okay,
if that makes sense. I'm staying in. I had a pretty good back surgery, and there's not much I can do, but I have a routine that I do every day, so I'm staying in as good a shape as I can, and mentally I feel better. There was a time there's no way I would have been able to have a conversation with you like this. So for me, I'm doing great.
Well, listen, I mean, this coming weekend, the world is going to be celebrating Independence Day, and on boats and on beaches and everywhere, and drinking and having fun with their friends and whatever it is that we do to celebrate and lighten off fireworks. And I just want all of our listeners to keep folks like Justin in mind, and we get to have this celebration all due to their sacrifice. So, Justin, much respect from us, and thank you so much for everything you've done for this country.
Thank you, sir. You guys are awesome. Thank you for having me.
So are you. Thank you so much, Justin.
The book is Mob 6, a SEAL Team 6 operators battles in the fight for good over evil. Go buy it. Please definitely go buy it. Justin K. Sheffield is the author. Justin, thanks again, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Anytime.
A pleasure.